Okay, so, agenda item.
Oh, there.
Okay, agenda item 6.2, superintendent's
Oh,
report.
good. I'm glad we have sound now.
This is
Okay, great. We're thrilled to announce that our staff, we actually have seen quite a bit of our staff as they're getting ready for the next school year. You'll see attached to the agenda, the kickoff, which is the first 2 days back. Every staff member loves the professional development, but really tried to make it a joint effort. So we're happy that our teachers are actually in the planning and presentation of the events that are happening. So that would be next Monday. Our teachers are back officially. We'll have breakfast here, and then when you see names on this agenda, they're the teachers that are helping present in all the different activities. We will be undertaking really a deeper dive into our math data. So the state has given us access to the math data. It is not publicly released yet, so we're not able to discuss publicly, but you'll notice that we are having some additional math training. So we're thinking that we can always grow and reflect on our math practices and how we can reach even more children and make them really strong mathematicians. We also, throughout this agenda and throughout the entire school year, we'll be exploring the topic of AI. You're going to hear it throughout all from kindergarten through higher education. The big thing is that AI is here to stay. And so like the putting on the blinders and pretending it's not here isn't going to work. So it's really educating our staff about what's out there, how it can be useful, the tools that students can use, the tools that students shouldn't be using, how to cite sources from AI, how AI can actually make their jobs easier as well. So that will be a common thread throughout our entire year. I was lucky enough to go to an AI conference this summer. It was like completely inexpensive because it was really just about educators learning more about AI. And so I've taken the route of planting sparks and showing different things each time we meet to get people more and more comfortable and interested in our AI tools. And then we'll talk a little bit about our English language arts cast, all of course, not publicly yet with our scores, some instructional practices, and we have two great teacher leads that are going to highlight that, which Carly and Shadi are going to do a great job. The next day, we'll continue with culture and climate, really go over our schedule, kind of the nuts and bolts around making sure everyone knows how to get the things they need. And so that doesn't become an extra challenge and they feel comfortable with that. And then jumping into the rules of our new playground and how we're enforcing those rules and really getting kids happy and excited about the play structure, but also safe. It is a really exciting place, but it's also a place that we could get kiddos hurt. So it'll be great. We're really going to think about working together as a team. We have our two new teachers, Mrs. Smurl in 4th grade and Mr. Stevens in history, that will be joining the team, and our behavior specialist that the board approved that position. I know everyone's looking forward to that, and her name is Elaine Mack, and those 3 great new additions will be wonderful. And then last but not least, in the superintendent report, you see an attachment on the save the date. At our next board meeting, prior to the board meeting, so at 5 o'clock, we're meeting on the lower field and doing the official ribbon cutting. And we are honoring the amazing donors for our play structure, which include our Rotary Club of Cayucos, CEF, the Held family, the Hartzell family, the Cayucos Turkey Trot, and the Cayucos PTA, as well as the O'Shea family. So those were the major donors, whether it be in funds or in-kind services, to make the play structure happen. And it has had a soft opening this summer, and it is a very hot item for sure. And we'll unveil the plaque, and that thanks all of these people that helped dedicate this awesome play structure. And that is the superintendent's report.
Okay, and then moving on to the welcome back to school information.
So following up with that, you'll notice that we talked about our staff coming back, our kiddos. So our kiddos come back. officially August 21st. So a week from tomorrow. If you guys recall, the board, we did a survey of parents and staff about this start date. And people are really happy about us starting a week later. Most of our colleagues around the districts here in San Luis Obispo County are starting this week. And we do have an entire week left. It does mean we're gonna go a few days later into the year. So our end date is the 10th of June. But at this point, it's a good trial to see if that works for everybody. Families are getting their last minute trips in, which I think is great. So first day of school, August 21st. The day before, we have our annual root beer float, which is a party, which is just new kids, any kiddos getting back on campus, kind of getting the wiggles out, having some root beer floats, sponsored by our PTA, which is awesome. We will do our TK and kinder previews with parents at that point, because on that first day of school, parents will drop their children off at the gate and I'm sure shed some tears, and then the kiddos will go off to class. So we will start that pattern of releasing your child at the gate and then starting onto our campus. And we have our back to school night set for August 28th. So it will come very quickly. August 28th is the opportunity for our teachers to present what they're looking at, their hopes and dreams for their grade level or content area, and kind of how we do our work. And it'll be a great night. And that is a adult only night. Right? Okay. I always double check that. Yeah. So that's when parents get to come to classroom. They don't have to worry about their kiddos running through. They're not showing them their projects like at open house. It is an adult only night, which would be great. And that's our welcome back information. You'll notice there's 2 letters attached. One was the summer letter that our staff received and our parents in June. And then we also did a welcome back letter. Gosh, when was that? Mid-July, right? Oh yeah, one other thing. Every year we do a postcard. So every family and staff member receives postcards that have all the dates that we've just talked about. And they received that in the very beginning of August. Did you get yours, Dan?
What's that?
Your postcard?
Yes.
Okay, good. And you didn't get one this year. Or did we send it to the board members too?
I think I got one.
You
Yeah.
used to get it every year.
You have to send it back.
I think I got one.
I have a play structure on it.
I think I did do it.
Okay, yeah. So you all got
Yes,
it.
no, I got it.
I tried it.
And,
Okay. Great.
great. And then item 6.4, library committee annual report.
For Ed Code, we have to do an annual report prior to August 31st every year regarding our library. You'll see there is an attachment of the report here. It currently talks about if there were any complaints about the library, kind of just our general processes about the library, those type of things. I will let you know there will be a very quick update to this in September, which will just have the circulation numbers. So that'll just be just because the librarian is off this summer, she has a teacher's calendar. So the full circulation numbers.
So the 5,200 isn't accurate?
That's how many books, but like what we
Oh.
do in our circulation numbers, we can tell you by grade level, how many checkouts, average per child, all of that. And so we'll get that to you in September, but we didn't want to miss our deadline by the California Department of Ed. Not that I think they're going to be auditing this anytime soon, but it's oddly present on their website. So the new librarian for the state has updated the website and had just put quite a bit of stuff on there. So we wanted to make sure we met the deadline. So that is what we have there. So it's been great. The library is doing a fantastic job. She's also responsible for the Child Internet Protection Act training. So it teaches our kids safe practices from kinder to 8th grade regarding internet use too. And that's the responsibility of the librarian.
Okay, and then moving on to the consent agenda.
I did want to note one thing before we discuss or possibly approve the consent agenda. You may have noticed on the warrants, payroll, and superintendent expenses. So one of the things I continually do is reflect on other practices in districts. And I noticed that in smaller districts, when there's not a separate CBO in place, the superintendent CAL card or your credit card is listed separately. It has always been on your warrants approvals, so it's not like the board hadn't approved them. But just to make it completely transparent, we have, Melanie and I have worked to do spreadsheets for the CAL card use. every month. So it's a separate document and you can see that. It'll have the expense, where it was, and then the rationale. And that's really just because there's not a separate chief business officer at a smaller school district. So that's the only difference.
Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second the motion for the consent agenda.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just had a question, and I'm sure I've seen it before, but the 7.6, the induction
Yeah,
MOU,
yeah.
is that just if needed? I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
You got it. So this year, we have an interim principal, and there may be a chance in second semester that that person would need the administrative part. We don't have any new teachers that would need the induction. My first year, so this is my fourth now, so 3 full school years ago, we did have one teacher in the induction program, our transitional kindergarten teacher.
So a new teacher, I mean, they have to have a teaching credential, right?
Mhm.
And then they have to go through this.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's how they clear their credential. Yeah, and then after that, it's a very quick process of paying $100 for each credential. I just did it for mine. Yeah, but yeah, it's a 2-year process with a mentor teacher. The goal of it is to keep recruitment and retention. I don't know if that's always necessarily how people feel about it, because I know when I did it 1,000 years ago, maybe Dan, you too, felt like a little bit like hoop jumping, but they have transitioned that to support, but it is just part of the career path for both teachers and administrators.
I was just curious. I
Yep.
Wasn't familiar with it.
Hoop jumping, I think. And paying fees.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Trustee Castillo.
All right.
Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Schuler.
Aye.
Trustee Hewitt.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, and then we're on to our action items. 8.1, approve and accept donations.
Here we have the 8th grade class donation has collected $5,703 in donations through the parking lot. So the use of our lower field for parking during the 4th of July weekend. This does not include the separate parking that the Cayucos Educational Foundation did solely at our school site through volunteers of parents and kids who work that. The funds go towards the cost of Yosemite, which is roughly around $7,000 to $9,000, depending on the number of students. We do have a big class this year, which is great.
So do I have a motion to approve and accept the donation?
I'll make a motion to approve or accept the donation.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Schuler.
Aye.
Trustee Hewitt.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
All right.
Motion passes 4-0.
And approval of enrollment report.
So we currently are over 200. So that's great. If you guys recall, when I started, so 3 school years ago, we were at 173. So we are officially the only growing district, I believe, and county. And you know, if you do some quick math, any mathematicians out there? So we're just over about, 13%, 12.5% growth, which is great.
And then we haven't hit over 200 in close to 15, 20 years now. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
We're excited.
So
A lot
that,
of it's attributed to the fact that we're not losing middle schoolers. So typically there was anywhere from, 8 to 10 middle schoolers who would leave. Kiddos that would come here through 5th grade, maybe 6th, and then want to go to Loams or other bigger middle schools. And we're not seeing that at all. In fact, we're seeing the opposite, which is people joining us for middle school. So we're really proud of that fact. And our class sizes are looking great, really. They look really healthy to me. I know some people feel like they may look a little big. They look really healthy. Our largest class is 27. Yeah.
Is that the 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, 3rd grade and
Oh,
6th grade.
6 and 8.
Yeah.
Oh, and
What is
It is
8th grade,
26.
26, yeah. Yeah, they're really great, healthy classes.
great. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the enrollment report.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Mhm.
And we'll go with Trustee Schuler.
Aye.
Trustee Hewitt.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
All right.
Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, and then 8.3 hazard mitigation plan.
And as I noted, this is Rory. Rory will help with any of your needs, so. Oh, okay. Great. Okay. Hi, I'm Sherry Atkins. This is Bob Newman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
In 2021, Sheldon Smith began the lengthy process of obtaining a FEMA grant to put together a hazard mitigation plan. And our company, Category 5, was hired by County Office of Education through a competitive process. We are a local firm. We have extensive emergency management and response experience, as our team is comprised of both local emergency responders and emergency planners. And we have put together more than 80 multi-hazard emergency response plans and hazard mitigation plans. This project involved all of the school districts in the county, excluding San Luis Coastal, because we had completed a plan for them a few years prior. Purpose of a hazard mitigation plan is to prevent loss, both physical and financial, from both natural hazards, floods, fires, earthquakes. And also, even though FEMA only requires us to address natural hazards, because we're dealing with schools, we also included human-caused hazards in this plan, including active shooter, cyber attack, utility failure, and hazardous materials spill. So the advantage for the school districts in having a plan is not only is it making the schools safer, but by having a FEMA-approved plan, it'll provide grant funding opportunities to the participating school districts and also potential reimbursement should a disaster occur. So in putting together this project, we did a comprehensive risk assessment through analysis of potential threats and also past disaster history. We conducted school and facility site inspections of every school in all the districts. We put together a planning group comprised of 36 representatives that were from each of the school districts, in addition to other community stakeholders. And we shared our plan and the proposed mitigation actions with this group and received their feedback and approval for our recommendations. We followed a very extensive public input process and gave the public time to review the plan. We held 3 public forums in January, one in the North County, one in the Central, and one in the South County. And this extensive review process provided ample time for the school districts, the key stakeholders, and the general public to review the plan and also provide feedback on it. The outcome of this project was a series of goals, objectives, and attainable mitigation actions specific to each school district. And also we put together an action plan to make sure that the mitigation actions can be carried out. And essentially the action plan delineates the timeframes, responsible parties for carrying out the mitigation actions, and also lists potential funding sources. And we've been doing this for more than 20 years. And when we put together these plans, we make a real concerted effort to create realistic, cost-effective, and attainable mitigation actions that can be accomplished over time with the ultimate goal of making the school facility safer. After the extensive local review process, the plan was forwarded to the State Hazard Mitigation Office and California Office of Emergency Services. They approved the plan, then the plan went to FEMA. FEMA has approved the plan. So the final step is for the school boards to adopt it. You're our 8th school board, and we're hoping you will adopt the plan. Can we answer any questions?
I have a couple of concerns. Number one, it says that our flooding our potential for flooding is at low risk. And, also windstorm probability is medium, severity is low. We've had some pretty big windstorms here with rain and flooding that all happens at the same time, and we were affected in our lower field. And we also did have issues, up here. We did need to sandbag, if I recall correctly. Yeah, to keep the water out of our classrooms. So I'm just kind of wondering why was that decision made?
Water. And improperly designed, corridor or conduit down there. So it allows water to jump up out of there, flood that lower section. It's not a flooding issue, it's a drainage issue.
Now-
It's actually Caltrans' responsibility.
So now I live down the hill at the same level as, same sea level as the library here, just 400 feet away, and it is a flood zone. So why is this not considered a flood zone?
As far as FEMA's concerns, remember what causes what? Is that a naturally occurring disaster, the flooding goes on there in the field? Technically, it's not. If you look at the 2 new homes that went in down there, right there, just as you go
Mhm.
through the freeway, they could have never built those homes if were in significant floods.
Well, I don't know if you noticed that they were raised, they're raised quite high, same as my home. My home where I live, they brought the level up to 8 feet. And I am required by my mortgage lender to have flood insurance because we are a flood zone.
That over
Okay.
just outside. And the flooding that is caused by building, drainage up building, place at like 850 year old. I discussed that. Now, as far as storm damage, you're absolutely right. Take the heck of a storm.
Mhm.
The school infrastructure itself, towns, the school infrastructure itself is not the significant question. There are no big trees around here, nothing that would really damage the school infrastructure itself. The same difficulty we have here. All the schools, school boards are pretty smart about where they build things. They don't typically build things in flood zones and or treaty or big. So it's not to say that you don't get significant storms here. But the
Mhm.
school itself is not moving.
Mhm. And then I had a question as to why we aren't, considered, the nuclear power plant issue
gonna bring that too.
isn't, I mean, we do have a plan if Diablo blows up for our kids to go up to Cambridge. Is it Cambridge? Isn't it where's that word? We go up to Paso? Okay. Fairgrounds.
I'll go in my Prius, you drive right back to my house.
Technically, you're out of paths. Not really in nuclear response plan area.
But we aren't,
We have the alarm.
we have the alarm, so,
Yeah.
and we'll, they'll be
That's
tested.
PG, I'm grateful. Or PG. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I-
Okay,
No, you can do better.
okay.
And roads.
Mhm.
I need. So. Quite a distance.
Right on.
Yeah.
So the wind's the.
Mhm.
That's great.
Okay, great.
The
Yeah.
only thing I'd say is, there's lots of debate on who owns the diversion of, water from the Caltrans area, the culvert, that whole, 'cause when the atmospheric river came a few years back, we were in session with the county and Caltrans and the school with the issue of, saturation of water and, flooded culvert and all that. And it was kind of like, yeah, you might have been even part of that discussion.
I remember all that discussion.
Yeah.
We talked about the staff.
And ultimately Caltrans said it's our culvert.
Yours.
Yeah.
School district.
Yeah. So there was some tracing of that, but regardless, that was really great explanation. Thank you. Yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve the hazard mitigation plan along with the resolution?
I'll do a motion to approve. I'll second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Pewitt.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Schuler.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
And you-
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Item 8.4, Board of Trustee Professional Development.
It's that time of year, your favorite topic, which is that we have multiple opportunities for board members if they would like to further develop their connection to professional learning and their role as a Board of Trustee member. We have our one that you're all very familiar with, which is the CSBA, the California School Board Association Annual Educational Conference. It takes place in at the very beginning of December this year, and that is located in Sacramento. We also have the what's called SSDA. It's actually the Small School Districts of California Association. This is the one that I went to last year in Sacramento, mid-March. We hadn't had someone attend it in quite some time. And it is both a superintendent, executive assistant, and board member training, all for small schools only. I will say that when I attended that, I thought it was wonderful and so relevant, just because we are uniquely different when it comes to our needs, our finances, our staffing, and this was all catered around that. They also did a good job with their keynote speakers, those type of things, getting things rolling throughout the day. So it was great. And it was the first time I had attended. And then last but not least, there is the event every year that is the CSBA Coast to Coast that takes place in Washington, DC. So what this item is currently, we have $10,000 reserved for the board for professional development. Staff is actually recommending looking at a budgetary change of $20,000, and then us individually sending out emails to you guys and finding out what you're interested in versus the claim right now of you will attend this, but really just have that budgetary plan for the professional development of the board. And then we'll find out individually what you guys would like to do, but ultimately it's up to you.
While you were talking, and I should have, when we were setting the agenda, I should have brought it up, but also Masters in Governance. I know the three of you haven't taken it, and I took it. I found it extremely worthwhile.
Yeah.
And it should be starting, I think, in a couple weeks or so. It's online now, so you don't have to traipse all over the place, but
I'll have Mary send the MEG information, so they call it MEG, Masters in Governance. It is an ongoing for is it a year and a half or a year?
no, it's just a year.
A year.
It's just, well, actually, I think you could do it in shorter amount of time if you really wanted. Yeah, I spread it out over the school year,
Yeah.
but I think you can do it in a shorter amount of time. And
We'll send out that information. Good, thank you for adding that. Yes, that's also a consideration. Those are things, and things always come up. For example, local educational law firms offer trainings. That's why I think if we just set the amount, we look at that, if there needs to be any revisions, and really let individual board members or the board as a whole decide versus determining 2 people will go here or 3 people will go there, because life happens at times.
So are you saying we had 10 and an additional 10 to
Yeah.
20?
Yeah, when I started costing these out, it
Yeah,
wouldn't
so-
cover every board member to go to one training. The $10,000 doesn't cover that anymore. Just things cost more.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll send out something to the entire board around your interests. And the one thing will be that even though the CSBA annual conference isn't until December, very beginning of December, everything starts booking up now. So that's the only one is we'll start getting that pressure of registering by mid-September at the latest.
Yeah, early bird is already over, actually. So we're in the midst already. It starts in July.
And it's in Sacramento this year?
Correct.
Yeah, so that one's Sacramento, the small school districts, it's in Sacramento. Like you said, the Masters in Governance is online, and then this coast to coast is in DC.
I'll make a motion to allocate another $10,000 to the budget for professional development.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Schuler.
Aye.
Trustee Pew.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, review of action items, tasking and calendar. Is there anything anybody wants to bring up? Okay, so we'll move on to adjourn tonight's meeting.